Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the Lightbringer. This is the Tier 7 Blitz Nation Heavy that has been added with the Soulbringer. This is the Tier 8 Blitz Nation Tank Destroyer. Soul Eater is super fun. It's actually one of my favorite Tier 8s that Wargaming has introduced into the game. Its gun is very dangerous, has great penetration, and way better accuracy than I honestly expected. Super fun vehicle in general, and definitely a tank that if you have, you will enjoy. Now, the Lightbringer, unlike the Soul Eater, is obtainable through Wargaming's Battle Pass that is coming out today. The Battle Pass is very easy. All you need to do is make it to stage 30 and you get your hands on this vehicle, but that will involve you spending $10 to $15. So if you want the tank, you can get it. There's also a chance you can get the Soul Eater while grinding the Battle Pass, but essentially it's just like any other Battle Pass. You will need to get the Premium Pass to be able to get enough points to make your way to stage 30, so a little unfortunate. In today's video, I am going to be talking about this tank, its armor profile and capabilities, and letting you know whether this is a tank worth your money or a tank that you should stay very far away from, and even if you don't plan on buying it, how to counter it in Tier 7. So let's start off with the looks, and I actually think it looks pretty cool. It's not my favorite looking vehicle, but overall, the design's really unique, especially that front. That's one of the most cool designs I think Wargaming's put into the game in a while. The back is pretty average, though. In terms of its overall statistics, the gun is pretty mid. It has 270 damage per shot, 184 mils of standard pen, and 2,100 DPM. So its DPM isn't great, but its aiming time and dispersion are okay, but it is a very low damage per shot. Only featuring 6 degrees of gun depression, it's not going to be super flexible on ridgelines. Top speed of 33 and a reverse speed of 11, but at least it has a very solid power to weight ratio because the vehicle weighs in at 83 tons. So this thing actually goes 16.6 in power to weight. That means it should very easily accelerate up to its top speed. I actually wonder if it's going to be really good at ramming due to how much weight this vehicle has going for it. So yeah, in terms of the statistics, it's really not all too crazy. Now there is one value which is absolutely wild for the vehicle, and that is the shell velocity. If we take a look at this vehicle shell velocity, it is 2,000 meters a second, which is kind of wild. If you are running Supercharger, you can get that up to a whopping 2,700. However, there's no real reason to do that because at 2,000, you're already hitting everything like a laser beam in terms of speed. So I would just keep it with aiming time and not bother with anything in terms of shell velocity there. Now, when it comes to this vehicle's armor profile, it's not the best. It's not the worst, but it's definitely nothing incredible. The lower plate in general is only about 120 mils thick, so it doesn't really matter what you do with this lower plate. I mean, yeah, if something hits here, it will obviously ricochet off, but in general, you're going to get penned in the frontal structure of the vehicle. It also has these cutouts, which are massive weak spots, these little things here and here. Those are also weak spots. So in general, the hull of this tank is not very good. It's only the upper plate which will get bounces. And the upper plate's not that strong either. It's about 230 on the flat part. So basically this whole area here you're able to pen. However, if you do hit the actual flat nose, you will bounce because of just how steep of an angle it is. Now the turret armor, Wargaming in their video called impenetrable. However, that's clearly not the case. Loading gold with around 250 mils of pen, you can cut through this turret easily. In fact, it's only about 215 millimeters thick right here, 180 against AP ammo. So in general, the armor is not very effective on this vehicle's turret. As we can see, you're going to cut right through it with around 220 to 215 millimeters of pen. And it's not tricky at all. So, I mean, against standard ammo, yeah, you will get bounces, especially tier 6s, but there's not much you can really do to angle it or hide the turret's weaknesses itself. Side scraping, it will be okay. It does have this weird thin bar here, which will be a problem. It's like Wargaming accidentally put that there, but that is going to be a serious problem, meaning that you will get penned at that angle if some random shells hit you. However, in general, the side armor is not too bad, which I guess is decent. You can see that you can get to a decent angle and still be able to get some bounces here and there. Overall, the Lightbringer's armor is nothing special. The gun is nothing special, and neither is the mobility. To be entirely honest, this vehicle doesn't look to be that unique. It would have been cool if it was an autoloader, because with 270 damage per shot, you could be dealing 540, maybe even give it 3 shells, depending on the interclip and everything, but obviously that's not what this vehicle is featuring. So the question is really going to be down to how the vehicle plays in actual battles. Is the armor going to work at all? Against tier 8s, I don't think it will. And against most tier 7s, especially if the players just load gold, I also don't think it's going to be all too effective. But I do think when you are playing in tier 6 matches, the DPM and armor will be pretty good. And I'm hoping that this tank is very good at ramming due to the 80 tons of weight it features and pretty solid power to weight ratio. So here we go into our battle on Port Bay, and we are in a basically all tier 7 matchup. 2 tier 6s on the enemy team, a Seawolf and an SU-100Y. Now, something I do like about this tank is that it's quite small, which means at least you're not a very large target. The Soul Eater is quite a large vehicle, as we know, which makes it a very easy opponent for people to try and take apart, which is something that you will have to worry about. We can see that power to weight I was talking about here, very quickly accelerating up to speed, which is quite nice. I also love that design of the gun, where it's got, like, the effects cutting through it there. It's keeping it together. That's pretty dang sweet. Too bad you can't see the shell, like, cutting through the gun as you shoot, but it is still pretty cool. So we have a silencer. Actually, we have 2 silencers over here, and we are just heading in. Hopefully, our armor does a decent job, but I guess we'll see. We spot the enemy Dracula all the way in the back, and there's that shell velocity. Easy snap-a-rooney right into the Dracula. And that player is already a goner. Okay, well, we have the Seawolf over here. We're just going to move up a little bit. We're going to aim it on the Seawolf. Aiming, and bonk. There you go. We can see that the shell velocity is kind of insane. However, the armor is already showcasing itself to be pretty mediocre. Not really getting any bounces whatsoever so far. We'll see if that Seawolf ends up poking. Oh, we have the CS-44. Wow, that shell velocity does feel kind of wild, though. The fact that you're able to just get that shell out so quickly is insane. There we go. Nice clear into the CS. We reload, and we'll see if we can get any more damage out. Will the CS-44 poke it again? Come on, you little goober. Now, I do think the armor will be pretty good when hauled down, especially with the way the turret's designed. It's got this big old roof, which will probably get some very, very easy bounces. So, come on, CS. Give me your tank. I'll just start moving up. There's really no reason not to. We'll see if that CS tries to poke my teammate, and oh, yeah, the accuracy on the tank is not bad, but the on-movement dispersion definitely could be a little bit better. So the CS is going to poke, and he's going to get shot, but we get hit back, ooh, by a T-25-2. I don't want to be shot over and over by a T-25-2. No, thank you. But what I will do is I will overpoke, get a nice shell into the 45 TP, and back up. The 45 TP is now a one-shot, which is pretty good for me. And, well, my team's not doing great, but we are still alive. Can't hit you. We have the CS-44 in front of me. Okay. Well, let's back out of here. By the way, reverse speed is really, really atrocious. We only reverse at 11 kilometers per hour, making this one of the slowest reverse speed tanks in Tier 7. Pretty dang bad in that regard. So we got the CS in the back, and we also have the AMX 1357 on my rear, but we do have 2 silencers, which could still be pretty decent. There you go. We get a nice shot into the enemy CS, and good. Okay, that player gets cleared. That's all fine and dandy. SU-100Y is pushing up now. We get a nice 338 damage shell, and we reload. While this vehicle does not feature the most impressive DPM, we do feature a very quick reload due to the low damage per shot this tank features. Not able to get a shell into you, but SU-100Y, nice easy shell, screaming into his tank. However, this is 100% going to be a loss, as there's just nothing I can do when my team is, you know, bad. We blocked 2700, though, and we had a decent result. You can see what I mean by this tank doesn't really have any super special capabilities, though. I mean, you can drive a T-29. Honestly, in a T-29, I might have been a lot better off in this game due to the gun depression and overall haul-down capabilities it features. But, oh well. The tank missed a shot on the SU-100Y, which would have definitely helped, because I might have been able to push up, clear the 45 TP, and then turn around and deal with the T-25-2. But with that miss, we were not able to. So we ended up dealing 3,135 damage in this first battle, and not a bad result. Definitely not a bad result. The armor on this tank does seem like you will get a lot of bounces just because of the way it's designed. I mean, against tier 8s, I don't expect many bounces. I think most tier 8s will be able to cut through your armor quite easily. But tier 7s, I think, will bounce you. because of the way it is angled. It's got a lot of goofy, points, and the roof of the tank is a super hard pen. Plus, it has no hatch. So there are certain spots where I think you will get bounces, but I think in most situations, if you expose your hull, you're quite easily going to be cut through. Okay, we are now on Desert Sands. In another pretty good matchup, we have a E10 and M7 Yo up against us. Tiger 1. Okay, so 3 tier 7s. Now this game, we are going to drive on flat ground, because we're on Desert Sands, and you're not really able to use your gun depression. It's kind of weird, because the armor on this tank is obviously very open and exposed. And the problem is, you don't really have gun depression to even hide it to begin with only 6 degrees, and it could have had so much more. We can see there's so much room. This tank could have easily had 8, 9, 10 degrees, and I think that would have allowed it to be much nicer. I also don't know why Wargaming opted to only giving it 11 degrees of reverse. Ah, man. That shell did not go anywhere close to where I wanted it to. That is rather sad. All right, let's aim it on the... Man, could I get a little bit of good RNG today, Wargaming? Just a little bit. Well, let's try again, aiming it on the Yo. Nope. 3 for 3 so far. Wow, this gun is, it's truly a keeper right now. We got the Panzer IV-S in the back. We have the Tiger, and there you go. Nice shell, but we have to use my repair kit. We've been tracked a lot. We have not been penned a lot, but we've definitely been tracked. Let's see, we got the Yo. I'm going to let it fully aim in. I'm not missing another shot. Alright, well, we're up to 600 damage, and we reload. We have the Yo, who I can aim in on the lower plate of, and there you go, 285, pretty good. I do like how quick the reload is. With only 270 damage per shot, you are able to get these shells out rather quickly, and seems like the gun in general, penetrates most of the shells it shoots, as long as it hits. Alright, well, let's head over to the Tiger 1, and let's get a nice shell into the rear of his vehicle. There you go, 260, and we reload. Alright, let's see if we can get another shell out into you. Obviously, we can't high explosive pen him. That spot that looks like an HE pen on the back of its turret is just spaced armor, so not an actual weak spot. We have the T-37, who I'd love to be able to get a shell into. There you go, 322 damage. Pretty good stuff. Alright, well, we have the Hellcat, who I'm not going to be able to shoot. We have the T-37 who bounced me. Honestly, the armor seems more effective than I expected it to be. Everything's just bouncing me, but I think that's more because of the fact people just don't know where to aim, rather than the armor actually being all too effective. There you go, nice little ram into you. Let's turn our tank, see if we can get the clear in the Hellcat. No, my turret traverse is way slower than I expected it to be, so we were not able to get that clear. We have the T-37, and we have the E-10 left. Well, I'm going to ignore the T-37. Maybe I'll get shot. Ooh, we got Maxwell too. That kind of sucks, but I don't really care. I want to get some damage out into this E-10, and the only way to do that is to push him. So here we go. We're up to 2,600 damage so far in this game, which is already a pretty good result. There you go. Nice shot for 301. And this is where I think that turret armor is going to be pretty good. This E-10 probably doesn't even know what to do to me here, and we're going to aim it on his lower plate. Nice shell, and just like that, we got a pretty solid victory. 3,200 damage, and we got a lot of bounces. So, yeah, the armor definitely seems better than at least it is on paper. I mean, I got a lot of bounces there. I think it's just because of the way it's angled and the tracks are. It's kind of goofy in terms of its overall armor, which does allow you to get more bounces than you'd actually expect. Also earning a decent amount of credits. Overall, I don't think that this is the most fantastic Tier 7 out there. There are obviously plenty of other Blitz Nation Tier 7s that are quite a bit stronger, at least if you ask me. You have vehicles like the Lupus, which have 12 degrees of gun depression, and a super duper dangerous gun with the alpha damage. We obviously have the Smasher, we have the Forest Witch. I mean, there's a lot of tanks that I think are very dangerous right now, which I think most situations would probably do a better job, especially like the Lycan, for example, which has better hull armor, has more alpha damage, and really doesn't sacrifice too much anywhere else either. It's got decent mobility and 10 degrees of gun depression. So at the end of the day, I don't think that the Lightbringer is bad by any means, but I also don't think it's anything too special. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this tank, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!